Hello and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Basher.
I'm DJ Wooldridge.
And today we're talking about Stargirl Season 1, Episode 8, Shiv Part 2. After Courtney gets herself into some trouble following an unexpected confrontation, Pat decides they need to come clean to Barbara. Meanwhile, Cindy takes heat from her father after a plan to take matters into her own hands goes awry. And finally, Yolanda, Beth, and Rick lead an investigation into one of their own classmates.
Which
a lot
one?
of stuff comes to light. I know, who could it be? I wanted to say some positives up top about this episode. Also, last week it was cool seeing Shining Knight. I don't know what it means. I have no idea what the payoff for that's going to be necessarily. But in this episode, the action in that final fight between Courtney and Shiv was very well choreographed.
Yeah,
and it was genuinely impressive. And Brainwave Junior, his powers kind of going all over the place, was a cool way to button off the episode.
Yeah.
And also learning more about Dr. Ito from the comics. That was pretty cool. But that's some of the positives I've had. What did you think of the episode?
I liked it. I think for me, Stargirl gets better as it goes on. I think it's starting to get a good handle on its supporting cast, and I think I like this episode a lot because it's a very Pat-centric episode, and I think Luke Wilson is doing a very good job as Pat, and they give him a lot of like good voice of reason moments, and then find a writerly gobbledygook to get around. Like when he's like, yeah, we need to tell your mom. Like it's one thing I tell the hospital you got in a car accident and I did the whole car accident thing, but we need to tell your mom. And then she's like, but you can't because it'll make me sad. And it's like, he should though. And then of course they give him the out because the mom's tired and she's like, Amy Smart's tired. She's like, oh, let's do it tomorrow. And that's kind of the writer's out for him not telling her. But it's like, yeah, for real though, he really should because he looks like a real bad dad right now.
Your stepdaughter got stabbed in the stomach 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
You need to tell her. I get why the mom wouldn't necessarily know her injuries.
Yeah.
But even the lie he tells, this isn't knocking the writing. It's like the mom should be more suspicious. Where it's like, we were on our way home and it was really late at night. So I was just like, yeah, this is a good time for Courtney to try driving.
Yeah, it's dark for the first time.
Wow, she can't even drive.
Yeah, roads are slick.
She can't even drive and she has the cosmic staff. I thought they were, I get it. There's young heroes and stuff and everything, but I didn't connect the dots on that.
It does feel like the counterpoint you're touching, and we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but the counterpoint to being a really good Pat episode is for some reason, Courtney's been getting dumber. Cause last week we had Yale on to talk about it. And we talked about how, in the Justice Society episode where they face Sportsmaster and Tigress, Courtney's like, we need to work together as a team. And then the next episode, she's like, never mind, I want to do things on my own. And then she gets her butt handed to her. And then she's like, wait, at the end of the episode, she's like, wait, what if I run off and don't consult with my friends to see if they're out of danger? And I'll just react. And it's like, I think we need to do, not that we haven't watched our superhero shows where the characters chronically do dumb things.
This is on the CW. This is how the CW works.
So it's not that we're not used to it, but I would like to see maybe. It's one of those things you want to see Courtney behave a little bit more intelligent, but then again, we wouldn't have gotten the cool fight scene at the end, and the fight scene was pretty cool.
It was cool, and the whatever Dr. Ito's servants are,
he calls them drones.
And they're drones?
He calls them...
Oh, he has drones.
He said... Because I don't know about you. He was like, I sent drones to find the body. And I'm like, drone? Because I imagined drones, you know what I mean? With helicopter propellers and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, no, he's talking about those things. What are those things?
That's why I'm scared to see his face.
Yeah.
I don't know what that deal is. Hey, whoever they got to play Dr. Ito, though... Good looking dude.
Yeah, exactly. When you see the picture, you're like, oh, why'd you make yourself a lizard person? You're doing all right for yourself.
Is this the only way you could stay alive? Because we have literally no idea why any of the other people were so young and alive. You don't have to explain that you turned yourself into a lizard person. I don't know how to explain it. And I know in the comments on videos, people have been like, oh, it could be this Justice Society story where they went to another dimension and then time changed in our dimension. I'm like, wow.
I could.
That'd be a lot.
Could be.
That'd be a lot to explain in this, and it would be kind of confusing. But also some positives I want to say. I love the goggles for Dr. Mid-Nite.
Mm-hmm.
That just made the character so much cooler in my head. The idea of having that AI that she can talk to, and Beth, the way she utilizes it is really cool. Even though she's being dumb by going through the house and hey, just serial killer's coming up to get you right now. Like,
Mhm.
you should 100% get out of there. And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. They're like, I'm just going to keep doing, I'm going to keep doing this for a little bit.
I did like
and
this was the first time we got Beth where she's like capable and she's talking with people and she's not like, hey, my only friend's a computer in my head. Like, it's like, good. Beth's actually acting like a person. Good for Beth.
like talking to her goggles in the corner.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you should not put her in danger.
No.
You should get, no, you should, she should go make some friends. Yeah, no. And I liked them teaming up to get her out of the house.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I was like, wait, why did Yolanda put on the whole costume? Like, oh wait, that's how it works.
Mhm.
That's how her powers work, which is fine. That was cool. And I don't quite know the deal with like the mom. She's maybe a clone or a robot or something like that. You know, it's something that like she doesn't exist.
You kind of thought robot, but it almost seems like she's an abducted person because she starts flirting with Pat. It's weird. Her situation is weird. I do definitely feel bad for her, whatever her situation is, because she clearly does not want to be there.
Mm-hmm. It's well, and also we kind of learned that maybe Shiv killed one of the other moms, possibly, because there was like, this is like third. I think this is like third mom. I'm not really sure.
And we talked about a little bit last week that it was weird when Cindy / Shiv was talking to Dragon King, that the guy in the green dragon hood was the one being the most sensible. Like, hey, maybe just be a teenager and stop murdering people. And it's like, whoa, this guy, lizard face dude, is the one that's got the common sense.
The guy who makes all the other villains like really uncomfortable. Like, he's the guy that like has like common sense.
Yeah, it's Cindy's worse than him. For me, one missed. I liked the setup this episode of them going to Cindy's house to try and figure stuff out, and then Cindy visiting Courtney. I will say the idea of Cindy visiting Courtney, interesting. The way it played out felt like a missed opportunity because it's really just like Cindy talking about like nothing every time they cut back and Courtney being uncomfortable, and it's not until the end she's like, oh yeah, I know you're Stargirl. And it's like, I feel like we could have gotten more out of this because it's a really good setup.
Like teasing it more.
Yeah.
You know, like teasing like does she know, does she not know? And it's like, she should 100% know this is Courtney.
Yes.
Any human being should know that's Courtney.
Listen, we may be hitting the Flash kind of being a dunderhead trope, but at least we're avoiding the Supergirl trope where it's like, for real though, this person should know.
I liked Pat talking to the cosmic staff where he's like, I have no idea. It's like, he shouldn't have been like beating himself up too much. It's like the staff clearly like has a personality.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how it works, but like, don't beat yourself up. It like listens or does something.
Yeah.
Like, and I like that it did try to stop her.
Yeah.
It did like it was like trying to listen to him and knew that this was probably a bad idea. And I think that's the most interesting part of the show, is that I do want to learn more about the staff more than anything else. Like, I like the idea of the Justice Society popping up and new versions of the heroes, but I would really like to know what their plan is for that.
Yeah.
Because it's a cool element of the show. It's a cool idea. And also it leads to some really cool action scenes between Shiv and Courtney, like we were talking about. And I liked also, by the way, just like smaller scenes. I liked the scene between Amy Smart's character and Icicle.
Yeah.
Like when they're at dinner. Like, I really like seeing like this version of Icicle. His whole confrontation with the man who ran the plant.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's like that bad businessman. His death was rough.
Yeah.
And it actually, his transformation on his face, I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea what's happening to you, but like it looks really cool when it's happening.
It does raise some questions for me about Icicle's abilities, because it seemed to be him either breathing cold or touching things and making them cold. But when the guy tries to leave, Icicle, seemingly not doing anything, was able to make the doorknob cold. And so it makes me wonder a little bit about the nature of his abilities. And it's a little bit weird, like, it's a little bit weird when they give the bad guy, like, the bad guy's also against the evil corporation. So it's like, I don't know what to do with this because he's murdered a kid. I don't know what you want me to do with this information.
Yeah, like it definitely makes them complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely in maybe not a good way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it necessarily like makes it clearer to figure out. Like, I don't need a clear like, this is a bad guy because he's got a mustache and he twirls it. Like, but like it, I do his message is muddled, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm a little confused.
Yeah, because it seemed like what what's their evil operation? Operation America, something, American Freedom, something like that. Whatever the ISA's goal is, seem to align with things that would be not against evil plants and stuff like that. So like, it might muddy the waters a little bit, but that actor is compelling. And like you said, the scene with him and Amy Smart, anytime they utilize Amy Smart in the show, I think is a good thing because I really like her as an actress.
By the way, I miss the actor who played Brainwave, but Brainwave Junior's all of his scenes were really cool, like doing the key and like finding out that Cindy was like a plant. Like that sucks. Like also if you're just like, because I think it was last week is when he was using his powers to like listen to people for test answers. And I like that element, but like the more it starts to evolve and grow, like this would be a very scary thing to happen to somebody. Like he's still a dick. Like we saw him like being mean to like people, but you're like, you need help. Like you need to go talk to someone, and they're clearly going to exploit this kid to be something for their plan. Whatever the plan's going to be, they definitely need a brainwave. So now they have Brainwave Junior to use. Like, I don't know what it means, but I do empathize with him a little bit where I'm like, wow, you lost your dad. Like you don't have a mom. Like, and now you realize your girlfriend's is not real. Like, and also you don't have any privacy with your thoughts anymore. Like it's scary. Like, and I like what they're doing with that character in particular. Like one of the weaker points where it's like Rick is like eye for an eye, like, you know, like we gotta like do this, and he's just having like a kind of like an anger tantrum, and it's not my favorite part of the show, but I did like the utilization of all of the supporting characters in this show. I just thought that scene in particular was a little weak.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also going back to your point about Brainwave Junior, he's 100% more compelling now than he was when we first met him, and he was just bully guy. He says mean things to people. Like now he's way more interesting, and interesting to the point where I took a second to like look up like is this a thing? And it is a thing. There in the comics there was a Brainwave and a Brainwave Junior, Henry King Jr., and he was created by Roy Thomas and Jerry Ordway and Mike Macklin in All-Star Squadron number 24 back in 1983. And what's interesting about Brainwave Jr., Brainwave Senior is a bad guy. He's a mind bad guy. What's interesting about Junior is that when he was first introduced, he was part of Infinity Inc. and he was a good guy. And then later appearances, it's more complicated. He tends to fall into the like, Brainwave Junior's screwing stuff up, and then you find out he's being mind controlled, or he's da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like he's used as an antagonist later on, but it's always a little bit more complicated than that. But I feel like that's kind of what we're setting up here, because as his powers grow, he becomes less of a dick. And so I'm wondering if they're kind of setting him up to be more of a conflicted character. But what's really interesting is that obviously when he goes into his dad's secret cell, every supervillain needs to have their secret burrow where they hide things. And he sees a picture of his mom, and in the comics, Brainwave Junior's mom is Mary Pemberton, who goes by the superhero name Gimmick Girl, or my favorite, Mary, Girl of 1,000 Gimmicks. And she's the adopted sister of Sylvester Pemberton, a.k.a. the Star-Spangled Kid, a.k.a. Starman in the show, a.k.a. Joel McHale, a.k.a. the person Courtney thinks is her dad, but is probably definitely not.
I love comics for being so complicated. Yes. I love them. So complicated. But, you know, and also we got to remember that, like, it may have been Shiv who did it, or Cindy, but, like, he gave the, like, naked photos of Yolanda to her or something. And, like, he did that. Like, to remember, he's still done, like, bad stuff.
Not a good dude. Hold on.
I feel I can empathize with that something scary is happening to him, but he's still done bad stuff.
Hold on. So if they keep that in the show where he is, hold on. If he is the son of Starman's sister, that would make him Starman's nephew, right? Yeah. So theoretically, if Courtney, that would make them cousins, right? Theoretically, if Courtney is in fact the daughter of Starman, which she almost definitely is not.
Mm-hmm. Kind of. I'd say like, yeah, it's like basically cousins.
Yeah, they would basically be cousins. That's wild.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Overall, like it was a pretty okay episode. But yeah, I think Courtney going after Cindy in this is more like they stopped answering text messages, so she was scared, and Cindy knew, so like she wanted to like take this thread out like quick. I think last episode she was more CW superhero, like I'm going to do this alone. I'm not going to tell anybody. No. That's what that felt like. Mm-hmm. This one felt more like revenge brain.
Mhm.
Not saying it's smarter. It just made a little bit more sense of why she was so headstrong and did it.
Yeah.
Because she's a dumb kid. And I'm really bummed that they had to wreck that car in order to cover up the lie. Like that sucks. That's a really good car, and I'm sure he could fix it because he built a gigantic robot that looked just like.
He'll fix it. He'll make it better than it was before. The car will become the robot.
I can't wait. I mean, it does fly. I don't know what it. I don't know if that's the one that flies, but it does something.
Mm-hmm.
It sure does something. We'll figure it out one of these days. But you know what? Overall, I'd give this episode like an 8 out of 10. You know, like I didn't hate it, but like it was just kind of like, it kind of felt like, for me, spinning its wheels a little bit.
Yeah, I would give it an 8 as well. I enjoyed it.
But please let us know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Make sure you can write a review if you'd like, or you can let us know on Twitter at Only Stupid Answers.
You got the vowels from stupid.
Please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.